All right, what's going on, everybody? I just want to introduce myself. My name is Eric Velasquez. I have been interviewing all the candidates for this upcoming election season, and yeah, just basically want to make sure that everybody has an open say, open platform for everybody. No, nobody is excluded unless they don't want to be on, and that's fine. So let me go ahead and bring on our next guest. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good
I'm better than
morning.
good and better than most. So,
Right. Yeah, definitely. So let's go ahead and start off by introducing yourself to whoever maybe is watching and doesn't know who you are.
okay, my name is David Tristan. I am originally from Fort Worth, Texas. Family moved down here when I was 6 months old when my grandfather got sick, and we've been down here since then. Uh, was raised in the west side of San Antonio.
All right.
Attended Lanier High School. Went from there. We moved out to the south side and ended up graduating from McCullum High School,
Okay.
class of '98. So good times, good people in both communities, lots of friends,
Yeah.
especially moving your high school year. It's kind of tough,
Yeah, right.
you know. But so from there, went and enlisted in the Marine Corps, did a tour
All
in the
right.
Marine Corps, came out, um, was went straight into the financial kind of sector of the side. In the Marine Corps, I did what was called dispersing. So it was just really people, you went TDY, made sure you got your money back for, whatever expenses you had. So it kind of just stuck with me doing that. So when I came out, I worked from, some collection agency companies, and then I ended up working for the banks. So I worked
Okay.
for all three big W's, which is World Financial, Wachovia, and Wells Fargo.
Mm.
Climbed the ladders there pretty fast. When I left Wells, I was a corporate trainer, and I pretty much trained one of the hardest departments in there, which was home home modification mediation. So anybody that was going to court to try to get modifications on their homes is kind of what I did with
Gotcha.
that. Got tired of it, got out, and did the insurance business, and still was corporate America. Left it, and now I own my own tax and insurance business.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And just so everybody knows, this is District 4. So if you're interested in wanting to know if this is your race or not your race, but this is your district, this is these are the boundaries. So you can see here it's a little bit gerrymandered in a sense. It's kind
Yeah,
of cut out. So so it's kind of weird. Some people don't know where their districts are. So I really want to make sure it's important you guys get to see that. And you can go onto the city website and be able to check it out and see where your district is. um, so first of all, we already have a couple comments already. Anthony Patel says ready. Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate it. Police reform, police reform, police reform. So yeah, there's a couple of things here. So let's just right off the bat. I mean, that's one of the main topics right now is police reform and everything. What's your stance on that whole issue?
so my stance on the whole issue is police reform, right? So do the police need reform? Do we need to do something about what's been going on, right? More training? Absolutely. However, what's on the ballot that's not what that is. What's on the ballot is what is called the Fire and Police Employment Relations Act. And what that
Oh,
indicates is without that chapter, there's not only no reform, but it gives the police the right not to come to work. So without that chapter that's in there, the actual safety of this city ends up in jeopardy. In
mhm.
the event that comes off and it gets voted that they do take it off, as we speak right now, there's about 600 officers that can retire. So you would take about maybe not all of them, but we're risking 600 officers coming off the streets over an already understaffed SAPD. So police reform does need to happen as far as, hey, we need to find out better solutions, right? Better ways to handle situations that have clearly gotten out of hand, and without the collective bargaining act agreement, that cannot happen. So we need to have that uh, act in place, and it cannot pass this term up.
Okay. And just so everybody knows um, what it looks like. Where'd it
I
go?
believe it's
This
Proposition
is
B.
the local government code, is what the whole thing is into play right now. Chapter 174. That would just be the Texas local government code, and you can find that on I forget what the website statutes.capitol.texas.gov. If you want to look and see what the actual chapter entails and everything, um, we really see a lot of back and forth between both of the parties. It seems like there's a lot of fighting in between. So I think that maybe there needs to be some type of information given out to the public that you know I don't know. There's a lot of confusion from people, and I think very well so, because there's not a lot of clear, definite sides from both ends. So it'd be really nice to have both of those entities together and try to you know say what they're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And so, like with the way it was put on the ballots,
Hmm.
right? Of it's just defunding the police. That's not what this chapter is doing. That's not what this is. You're not just. It's not just about police reform. Fix SAPD. This is you're literally removing the fact that without that bargaining, we can't bargain. There is no bargain. There's nothing to say that the city will comply with what the union wants, and there's nothing to say that the union will comply with the city wants. And then not only that, but you don't only just jeopardize our police officers, but you jeopardize the firefighters. You can't remove just one. In that act, it's both of them. So now you're jeopardizing not just the safety of the police officers on the street, but our firefighters that come in when you have medical issues, burning houses. That's another big factor that is affected.
Gotcha. Josie says those laws are from the 1960s, need to be rewritten. And if you're saying that officers will retire if we change the laws to protect citizens, say it. I guess, are you saying that officers will retire if we change laws to protect our citizens? And Dallas does not have collective bargaining. Um,
Yes, Dallas has it's a I forget what it's called, a will. Oh, confirm and agree, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, but what that does is they can confirm, but they still don't have to abide by it. Does the act need to be maybe rewritten? The words, yeah, we can work on that, but completely removing it, that's not the right way to do it. Now, as far as the 600 officers, I'm not saying they're going to. I'm saying that's who's eligible.
mm,
Okay, so there's just the eligibility of that already. So if let's just say that does happen, right? So there's about 2,800 officers in San Antonio. Okay, you remove another 600, let's say not even 300. At 2,800, it's still understaffed for the size of the city that we are. You're literally jeopardizing the safety of a lot of the citizens. Now, there's a reform that have to happen as far as, hey, look, there's things that us as the public don't like, as the citizens we don't like. So there needs to be that,
mm.
but removing it all, that's not what needs to happen.
Okay. And Josie says it's a meet and confer, I guess.
There you go.
All right. So switch of topics here. What is the first item of business you would like to accomplish if you do get elected into office?
So the first thing I would like to do if I get elected to office is really do an audit of what the city is spending. So being that I already run a business that deals in audits, right? That's one of the things that I want to know. Why are we paying into some of these entities all these millions of dollars, and it's not either helping us, it's maybe enabling us, or we're putting resources where it shouldn't be. In this district alone, the homeless population is pretty bad. And when Haven for Hope came in, it was supposed to, help get people from not being homeless. And now it's only gotten worse. Yet we're pouring millions of dollars into Haven for Hope, but what are the stats? what's working, what's not. Why is it growing? Something's not working. And now we've already extended to give them more money. They've been here since, if I'm mistaken, 2001. We're 2021, and it's gotten worse. So clearly something's not working.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the biggest ones that we have. Another one is in District 4. I feel like it's neglected by San Antonio. And when I say neglected, there's, you see all these new buildings, and you see all these renovations. You think of Southtown, you think of City Base. And in District 4, it's kind of like, okay, that's where the waste management is at. We don't want to put nothing over there. That's where the dump is at. And so nothing comes out this way, yet there's so much land.
Mm-hmm.
You take Five Palms, you take Sky Harbor, you take the Valley High area. What new has come out there? Yet they put up some new homes, but what businesses? Where are the small businesses, or where's another bigger one? Yeah, they put a new car dealership out there, and they put a baseball field for one of the private schools out there, but that's about it. And there's nothing there to really boost that side of the district. So that would be some of my top concerns going in.
Okay. Josie says officers starting to quit because we are asking to create modern laws. Then they aren't officers we need. Okay.
Oh, great point.
Yeah. Definitely something needs to be fixed.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we really need to look at what's going on, and it's kind of like the homeless situation, right? We're pouring money into this situation. We're pouring money into the Police Officers Association, or police officers, and is it working? Are they properly funded, or is the money going to the right places? I mean, are they getting trained properly?
Yeah, so I'm a big advocate for mental health,
mm-hmm.
right? So veteran mental health in San Antonio is huge. I think having a specific mental health department within SAPD that handles those types of situations.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the situations where we have shootings, sometimes officer involved shootings. Mental health is huge, and sometimes there's not enough training. We may not know, they may not know. And so I think having just a mental health department recognizing, how like you have a SWAT for certain situations,
Right.
Negotiate, same thing, but for mental health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And Fernando says auto reports available at the city site, which is reviewed and can provide his response to. Oh, I guess he's saying what have you reviewed and can provide your response to. If you have you reviewed any of the audit reports?
I have not reviewed the audit reports.
Okay. Are you willing to? I guess.
Oh yeah. So like I said, I mean, in my business, audits is what I do. Like that's crunching numbers, looking to see where it goes, finding where the money goes is what I do. Yeah. So looking at audits, that's something like it needs to be done. And then following it. Where's this money? You're allotted 23 million over here, 10 million over here. Well, where's it at?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? Because
right.
If it's not helping, then we need to move it.
Exactly. And Josie says, what is your plan for homelessness? Because, again, yeah, there is the whole audit thing and trying to make sure the money is going where it should be. But we also can't throw money into the situation. So what is your plan to address the homelessness situation in District 4?
So short-term solutions don't work. Okay. And so that's kind of what we've seen is just short-term, maybe patchwork.
Mm-hmm.
My goal is I already volunteer my own time with nonprofit veteran organizations, right? So that's where I put a lot of my own time in. And with the nonprofit veteran organizations, veterans know how to help other vets. It's how it works, you know. And the city, I feel, can do a lot more by incorporating nonprofits that this is what they want to do. They want to help. You know, they want to go out there and help. You know, homeless veterans, veteran homeless, the mental. You involve your nonprofits. That's what they're there for. They're there for to assist us in helping us with this situation. You know, we've grown in homelessness more, and us putting money into Haven for Hope was supposed to pretty much prevent that from happening,
Mhm.
and it didn't. So my goal would be literally to involve more nonprofits to help us with, hey, okay, you know, there's another district candidate going out there and actually speaking to some of them, asking them, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? You know, we can't fix homelessness if we don't know why they're homeless. Who's
Mhm.
out there doing the outreach? You know, just giving them a place for a shelter, that's giving them a place to lay their head. That's not really helping them get
Right.
where they need to be. I heard one of them say, hey, that's great that you're giving me food. I appreciate it. But if I could get some clothes to get a job, that'd even be better.
Right. You help them sustain themselves, and some will want that, you know. Some will not, but that's where you try to find different solutions. I agree,
Yep.
definitely. Um, Jeremy says there needs to be transparency with how the district is utilizing the funds that are being allocated for certain projects and programs.
So that's a great point, Jeremy. And let me tell you what's going on. What's on the ballot also is was passed is the fact that the city council and the mayor can now vote on bonds without telling the citizens of San Antonio. So on the ballot, there'll be a proposition up there saying it's a chapter change, chapter language charter change. And it's pretty much saying that they will, at their discretion, for whatever the needs, allow or vote through, push through a bond in which they don't have to be transparent. They don't have to include the citizens. Okay, so yes, being transparent is absolutely correct. Manipulating it to just one side is not right.
Hmm.
The facts is the facts. Trying to twist it and turn it to what it's not, or to favor another way, yeah, that really needs to stop.
Hmm. Definitely. Um, it says there's a mental health office within SAPD. Our advocacy efforts over the summer help get a mental health unit created and are now responding to incidents of mental health with mental health professionals. Awesome.
That's
That's
great.
great.
Now, is there so with that right there, is there a need for that unit to grow?
Hmm.
You know, is the stats showing, hey, you know what, this is something serious. Can we grow this? You
Right.
know, make it,
Right.
you know, have special investigations, you have
Hmm.
SWAT, you have, why can't we make this its own department for that situation?
Exactly. And anybody watching, I also do want to say if you would like to jump into the conversation and ask a question directly, you can do so. I'm going to go ahead and post the stream link down below. So you can actually jump into the live stream and actually ask a question. So it's kind of like a public forum. So I do want to offer that availability for you. You can also type in the comment if you don't want to jump on, but you can jump in if you'd like to as well and ask a question. Um, Joseph says, "What about mentorship and provide services for resume building and soft skills for jobs that match any existing skills they may have?"
So the city of San Antonio has, you know, several already resources for that, right? However, what I feel needs to come back more and probably stronger, and Northside's done pretty good job with it, but more trade schools, you know. And as far as trade schools going, I'm talking your plumbers, your mechanics, you
Mm-hmm.
know. um, it's people, for some, college is not where they're going to go, not where they want to go, you
Right.
know. And there's other avenues. Myself, right, I'm an entrepreneur. 5 years, the struggle of being an entrepreneur is just as hard,
Mm-hmm.
is just as hard, building your business from zero, from nothing,
Right.
and to keep going, you know. And that's not taught, you know, that option is not taught in the schools of, hey, resume skill writing. How do I file taxes? What is insurance? What is a retirement account? There won't even be a retirement account for our children.
Right. Right. Exactly. Joseph was saying it's almost been a year. Any success as well as challenges that stand out so far? Or question. I think he's referring to
So
the mentorship and provide services.
yeah, so they so you have, of course, workforce solutions, and now you have was it the new one that just
SA
passed,
works. SA
SA
works.
Works,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So the thing with those is they're gonna go to school, go to college, but what's to say they stay in San Antonio and work? So if there's nothing here to grow, yeah, we're gonna give them the education, and then they're gonna leave the city, which is fine, it's great. But mentorship works. That's how I grew. I back when I was growing up in the 90s, we had not just the mentors itself, but we did our recreationals during the summer. You
Hmm.
know, we have where everybody would go, and we'd have different times of the day. And since there was no school, you had different subjects, different things. We've lost touch of almost all of that.
Hmm.
I used to play midnight basketball till 12 o'clock at night at Cuellar Park.
Yeah.
you know and what did it do? It kept me from doing stuff I wasn't supposed to, and it kept me
True.
active. Where are those programs for our kids?
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Um, so, what are some of the things that you feel have not been addressed in your district? Yeah, and I know you kind of said about what did you say that was that you feel
so
hasn't been?
so one of the biggest things is the development in my district. Like you're growing other parts of San Antonio, and in District 4, it, I'm okay. So you put a water park on Pearsall Road. That, and that's about it.
Hmm.
I mean, what else? There's nothing else being done in this district. Nothing's growing this way. In our district alone, we just came out on the news. Our zip codes had some of the highest COVID positive testing. Why is that? Why do we have the highest in the city? Where's the help that this district needs? It's like everybody turns a blind eye to it. Even at night going through, Sky Harbor, Five Palms. Have you driven there? It's dead.
Hmm.
Nobody wants to go through there. It's certain parts that needs to stop. The segregation of that needs to stop. We need to build it up. It needs to go. We have that whole stretch of Pearsall Road from Military, just land. There's nothing there. Why can't we put a rec center there? Why can't we put a mentorship? Just like Joseph said, a mentorship. Something there to be able to assist the whole district in that community.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. Um, Jeremy says, "How do we encourage more people to donate their time to help the community? Is there any incentive for people to help others?" I think part of the problem is that everyone is thinking that someone else is handling community needs to, needs each other to help lift one another. That's very true because there's a lot of things where like, oh, they got it, you know, and in reality, nobody's doing anything about it. So, what are some things that you would like to see done?
So that's huge, right? And and he's right, Jeremy. You hit the nail on the head, because the nonprofit I volunteer for, right? That nonprofit does a whole lot for vets, but there's not a whole lot helping. There's
Mm.
not a whole lot of people willing to put in the time. They want the benefits of what the nonprofit is giving, but nobody wants to put in the time to help. Volunteer work is, I don't think you can force it on somebody to help somebody. It's got to come from you. It's got to come from your heart. Forcing people to help others, it kind of doesn't do it. However, if it's taught the right way, if we have these outlets and these programs that we need, that get our kids out there and, hey, you know what? Let me help you. You know, it's It's a good question because I can't really answer how to make someone volunteer. You shouldn't have to incentivize someone to volunteer to help somebody else. And I think that's kind of where society has gone. You're right. Hey, someone else is handling it.
Hmm.
You see me with my clipboard at the table. Oh, you don't need no help. You're good. That's a good idea. I'd love to take suggestions on that.
Yeah, and I think being in city council or any position in government or anything really, uh, we all don't have the answers. So we need to ask others, for help and other thought processes and then very true. We need to
And
work with
and
each
and
other.
that's it right there. Instead of just saying, okay, yes, okay, yes, okay, yes, to whatever the other person is saying, and not putting your input. You're right. As a city council representative, my views of what I see is not my priority. It's the view of the constituent, the view of the district. What do
Hmm.
you see? Because I don't live in all of the neighborhoods.
Hmm.
I don't live in all of the areas. I only see when I'm going through it. You know what I mean? But in each individual neighborhood is something different. And I won't know unless someone speaks up.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a great idea for here. And that's the problem. We need to stop or start encouraging people. Hey, say something, speak up. How many people go, and actually, hey, you know what? I have a problem with this. You may have some, and most of the time they may be retired. You know, they want to help instead of just. I'm a big person of don't sit there and complain. If you're going to sit there and complain, get up and do something about it. And it's really why I ran.
Mm.
When I decided to run, it wasn't because I think I can do. I'm not going to be the one that's going to sit there and complain.
Gotcha.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna take a shot at it and then go through with it. And I'm gonna take all the support and all the suggestions. Sit down like a team is supposed to be.
Gotcha. Larissa says hi. She's with Circle of Arms. She's a mental health advocate for uh, military and veterans as well. So hi, Larissa. How are you?
Hi, Larissa.
Um, Curtis is, in my experience, the best way to get volunteers is to raise awareness. And yeah, I mean, having a common cause and to be able to be out there and actually, you know, it's kind of the whole taking that stance of okay, well, I'm going to do something, and hopefully people will see you do something and want to follow suit. You know,
Yep.
and raising awareness as well. Fernando says Priosol Park is a huge landscape, and there are plenty of spots for outside groups that host walk, running groups, fitness groups, and my son and I meet up, folks, to run RC trucks in the open fields and skate park area. That's
Oh
a
no, no,
good.
it's a great park, but it's just one of what more that can be done in that district. It does have a lot to offer. There's no complaints about the park. It's great. Like the green belt that goes through the far west side through the bike trail. So there's nothing wrong with it. We just that our district just needs more.
Yeah, and I noticed District 4 doesn't have a TERS at all, which I was kind of surprised. Um, but if you're saying that there's not enough businesses down there, then maybe that's why they don't feel there's a need to have a TERS in that area. Um, okay, so real quick, let's change the topics here. Uh, what are some of your three favorite businesses that you like that are small businesses that are restaurants? What are some of the things that you like to go visit?
Okay, so my favorite one is
And I'm gonna tag these people. I'm gonna tag them
okay.
if I can tag them too.
So my favorite one is Estella's, and she's actually my caterer too. She's
Okay.
the only one I'll have cater my food. That's there. Then you have Sazon, Mexican food, which is another fantastic food. I can't rave enough about them. It's my go-to place on Sundays. And, and then my third one, it's a good one. My third one, I would probably have to say Jay Anthony's.
Okay, old school one.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. I think it's very important to be able to highlight some small businesses, especially right now. Um, with everything going on. So, uh, what are some of the things that you would like to do to bridge the gap between city council and citizens? So, bridging the maybe the information gap or the connectivity between the city council and the actual citizens.
I think a lot of it has to do with jargon. You know, a lot of times there's citizens that don't may not understand what some of these bills or bonds are being passed, the information that's being done. You know, so like in my world, I can't talk to somebody in IRS code. You're not going to
Hmm.
understand what I say. You know, I have to
Right.
translate it. So it's the same thing. It's the language in which we communicate, and not just the language, but the way it's communicated. You know, I think there needs to be more. Hey, guess what? We're going to have. Uh, I guess because I'm used to it when I was growing up, we would have function all the time with city councils coming out to the parks and having just with the that district or within that, you know, area,
Hmm.
to actually mingle, talk, you know, interact, what you would call shaking hands and kissing babies. You know, there's not a lot of that. Everybody's so caught up on social media. All they're gonna do is interpret what's read, right? But there's no emotion in behind what's read, so you don't know how it's coming across.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, but if there's that interaction, you're more visible instead of just I come here twice a week and then I leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And again, with that topic, if anybody wants to jump into the conversation right now and ask a question directly, you can as well. Please keep it nice. Please keep it a good conversation. But yeah, definitely, if you want to jump in, I posted the link above, and I'll post it again here. Let me grab it. I'm going to post it here on the comments. So please jump in and ask a question, or you can ask a question on the comment box as well. Uh, so with property taxes, obviously it's a big issue. What are some things that you would like to see that you would like to do to help the people, manage this situation?
So property taxes is huge. With the market the way it's skyrocketing right now, and the housing, I mean, it's great, right? However, property wise taxes, it's been hurting. We're going now into, the second year of this pandemic we've been through. People have lost jobs. All right. There was a moratorium for people not to be evicted. I really think there should be a freeze on property taxes, and not just property taxes, but personal business taxes as well for your small business owners, for both sides. People are barely just trying to keep people employed, and people are falling behind on their taxes. So when we come out, once we're fully out of this pandemic, now you go back, oh, well, now I'm 2 years behind on my taxes. Now the
Mhm.
city may come and take it. Hey, just the way we had COVID relief and, we got these stimulus payments, a lot of those stimulus payments went to just either catching up on rent, paying bills, you know, especially the people in our hospitality, in our restaurant business that really were affected. I know
Yeah.
people that are working at 3, 4 restaurants just to try to make what they were making before the pandemic.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a very difficult situation right there, and you know, I think a lot of the small businesses didn't even know how to apply or felt like they shouldn't apply for some of these grants because I don't know if it was either a lot of them they didn't even know, like especially on the south side, a lot of them didn't know. They didn't
Yeah,
know.
a lot of them don't know, or they may be uneducated in knowing how, or maybe too embarrassed to ask. And that's what I'm talking about. Like we shouldn't be embarrassed to ask. We should be helping each other, especially in this time. You
Yeah.
know, hey, guess what? You need help. Did you know there's this type of plan? This is what it's for. Take the second round of PPP. There's business owners I know now that didn't even take the first round.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and not for to go out and buy your brand new car, but just to keep your business afloat.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely not spend 3 million. There was a story that was three
Yeah,
million. Somebody $3 million and bought
on
two houses and
a
cars and
Lambo.
oh man. So how do you feel about possibly reducing the campaign contribution limits as far as putting a cap on the entire thing of a campaign? Um, so let's say, for example, just putting like a I don't know $5,000 cap on a campaign. How do you feel about something like that?
Well, this is the first campaign I've ever run. So I don't know how much I can honestly say how much it would be to successfully run one. I have looked at some of the other treasury reports and kind of blew my mind on how much money was in there, and is it a little ridiculous? I mean, that's a lot.
Right.
That's a lot. Me myself, I'm really not pushing for the funds into the campaign. It's more, hey, I need volunteers. That's
Hmm.
it. I think you can get just as much done, with the fact of the support. And actually, the more support you have, kind of shows what kind of person you are as well, not just the money that's in the campaign.
Right. Yeah, and I have received a couple of pushback from some people that are saying, well, that's just how it is. But I think we need to think outside the box in this situation because you know campaigns cost a lot, but they shouldn't be costing a lot.
Because you're supposed to represent the people, you're not representing yourself.
Right, and to have your name splattered all over the place. I mean, yeah, I get it. You have to advertise, but if people know what you're doing in the community, I think that's what should speak more volumes than putting a bunch of signs out. Which putting signs out is fine. It's just there should really be a cap, especially for people who can't raise that much money. You know what I mean? It's who's going to raise the most money,
That's
and
right.
you can see
And
some of
usually
these
and usually
articles.
that's how it's right. Whoever raises the most money. And yes, I felt like, wow, like, so you have to raise money to win? How is that?
Right,
You should have, it's just supposed to see who you go get out and vote,
right.
you
And I'll
know?
tell everybody that's watching, there are some candidates that will take out loans. There will some people that will just get money from organizations or corporations, whatever it is. And if they get a loan, they have to pay this back, and they have to struggle to pay it back. I mean, that's not putting us in a great situation to begin with. You know what I
No, because
mean?
now you're
So,
putting someone in the seat that's in
right,
debt.
right, and that's not cool. And I think we really need to start looking into this situation. Um, Anthony says, "I'm tired of having police violate my rights. What will you do to ensure police are criminally charged when they violate our rights?"
So that's a big issue, right?
Mhm.
So the violation of rights. So first of all, nobody should have their rights violated. I've had my rights violated. I've been wrong side of town, being Hispanic. You know, Not all cops are that way though. Not all cops are that way. So it's eliminating those bad apples that we have, that we need to worry about. As far as handling it, yeah. So that's what the collective bargaining is, right? So if you the whole point is, say, look, this needs to stop. Having them come in, come back, and they've clearly done something. Kind of like when you already commit a crime out here, they need to be held to the same standard. It can't be a slap on the wrist, but that's done with collective bargaining. That's a great question.
Mr. says, "How do you plan to reach your district to come out and vote?" That is a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. So the way I'm going to come out and vote really is, I'm going to go walk. You're going to start seeing me walking around, hitting the neighborhoods, and literally just asking questions. Like I said, where I live versus the other side of the district, two different ways. Even to the middle side of the district. I mean, even 4 blocks over. You can't really fix anything if you don't even know what's going on. And the whole point is to get out there and talk. You know,
Mm.
you can send me a message on Facebook. We're gonna go, block walk. You'll see me walking with my family. We'll be out there in the neighborhoods. We'll be having meet and greets, so you can, I can reach people in a group to talk to you. This is not about really in city council. It's not about, well, uh, I want X person in there for this reason. The person that's in there has to make sure that they have everybody's best interest.
Hmm.
And so I can't have everybody's best interest if I don't know what your interests are. So to answer that, yeah, block walking, going out there, talking to people, trying to really find out what your issues are.
Exactly. Curtis says, I agree to spend the minimum. Yes, that is, yeah. That's, I will constantly preach that one. Andy says, don't depend on the GOP for financial support. Block walking your district and reaching out to voters is great. Yeah, and I think the main thing is we get wrapped up into parties. And I don't know how you feel about this, but the party situation gets really messy, and we start getting divisive. We're dividing ourselves as people because we're not part of the same party or whatever it is. How do you feel about ranked choice voting? Have you ever come across that, or uh, was this new to you?
Ranked choice voting.
Yeah. So ranked choice voting, basically, you would have four candidates, right? let's let's just say four candidates. In this case, I think there are four candidates in your district race, right?
Yes.
Right now. So let's say you have four candidates. You can vote for each candidate in ranked choice order. So you can have, let's say, you as number one, and then somebody else for number two, number three, and number four. Um, and if your pick doesn't have is in last place, then your votes go to the next person. Because every candidate would have to reach the 50% threshold anyway, the 50 plus one percent threshold anyway, to win an election. And with people, when there's a bunch of people in a race, especially like in District 2, District 5, and District 3, this is definitely going to be relevant as well. But you have to reach that 50%. And if not, then you go into a runoff, right? So what ranked choice voting does, it eliminates the need for runoff elections because it would be an instant runoff election, and runoff elections here in Bexar County cost $8 to $10 million to put on to begin with, just a runoff, and we already have low voter turnout as it is. Um,
Yes.
and it would also stop the division between voters and between candidates, because then you're trying to earn the vote for the other person's voter base. Because if you can get their number two spot, then that would help you out as well. You know what I mean? So that's ranked choice voting. So is that something that maybe you would like to look into?
I could see that working on the local level.
Mhm.
You know, that's actually really different. And you're right with I think where there's what District 2 has 14, 15,
Ooh, I think 13 or yeah 12.
13.
I
Yeah,
can't
that
remember.
that's a lot.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
yeah, what you're doing there is now you're pulling whatever low turnout that may come out. Hopefully it's a high turnout, but
Mhm.
if you look back last year, the what was it, 10, almost 11% that came out and voted.
Mhm.
So that makes sense. It's something. Why not look at it?
You're right,
You know,
and it is new. I will tell everybody it is new. So I think there's a couple states in the U.S. that just started last year, and I think New York um, enacted it for the presidential election. So it was definitely new.
because that's a
Um,
that's a different strategy.
it's a different strategy, but it also would give a voice to a lot more people, and I think also would encourage voters to come out because then they wouldn't say, "Well, my vote is wasted." Your
Because
vote
it's only
you
on one
can't
person.
right. It can't be wasted if you pick your first, second, third, fourth choice or whatever number, however many candidates there are. Some people can say, "Well, it's too difficult," but in reality, y- voting should be a difficult process because you have to learn who you're voting for. We can't just start voting because of a party or just because we see their name on a sign every time. You know what I mean? So we have to really start knowing who we're voting because these are the people who are um, affecting your tax dollars in reality. So so you would be so you said you would
Yeah.
be willing to look at it at least. So Jolie said, with snowpocalypse 2021, many were left behind electricity, food, water, basic necessities. What did you do to assist the most vulnerable in our district? Houseless, elderly, disabled, etc.
So yeah, so we had several pipes burst. We had, people without food, without water. I used my resources to go out and okay, all right, who needs water? Who needs food? We were either, cooking food for some people. We were there was a point where the food was gonna spoil, and I said, let's just cook it all. Let's just cook it all and walk in the houses, go down the street, down the neighbor. Couldn't go very far, so we just kind of walked outside and walked through the neighborhood, see who was there, try to get what they can. Some people had generators with heat. Uh, you know, Giving is huge in what I do, and I've been doing it since before now. You know, uh, Almost every organization I've been has been voluntary. So as far as the apocalypse, after all that happened, I actually helped a lot of the people in my area register for their assistance,
Mm,
for the government assistance because they had busted pipes. A lot of them didn't know how the insurance part worked, walked them through it. You
right.
know, Unfortunately, I didn't, once I got out, but before I was able to drive, there wasn't a whole lot of homeless in our area. But in my block alone, there's a lot of vets down here. So we kind of check on each other as well. And then when we got out, it didn't matter if it was in this district or not another district. Whoever needed something, I was out there trying to get it. If I couldn't get out there to them, I was using resources to have someone else get it out to them.
Definitely. And with that, I will put on the comment below in the comment box. This is www.tdi.texas.gov. This is the Texas Department of Insurance. If anybody has an issue with your insurance, with whatever it is, renter insurance, home insurance, auto insurance, whatever it is, medical insurance, um, if you call them, they can give you some advice on how to speak with the insurance companies, or they'll even call them for you. Um, a lot of people that I've talked to have been getting their requests denied for rentals insurance and things like that. They're not paid for or homeowners insurance. So give them a call. It's a great resource, and they could help you, and they could not. I mean, it just depends on whatever the issue is, but it's definitely a great resource to call.
Absolutely. The TDI is great to use for that.
Mhm.
I did, we had a business pipe bust in the district, and it hurt the business. However, partial at fault was to the landlord
Mhm.
for it, and so it got kind of dicey there between the landlord and the and the business owner.
Right.
And so I went in there to help this business owner understand, hey, look, you have your rights. Don't fold. This is what you did. We called the insurance company, got them down there. You know, just giving an insurance. And as I speak, understand I'm a licensed insurance agent. So this is what I do. Okay. So when I told him, look, you got rights, you can't just, you know, give the insurance agent a number. You need to go in there and see what you lost. That's a big of what's happening. They're just throwing numbers and they're going to cut you a check when you really lost out more. So
Right.
definitely questions like that. I love doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Definitely. um. Let's see here. Um. What does community mean to you?
That's family. My community means I should be able to walk down the street, shake hands, have a barbecue. I watch your house, you watch mine. My community is what helps everybody in here grow. I
Mm.
got 4 kids running around here.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, so my community is everything. If my community flourishes and grows, I flourish and grow. And that's the way it has to be.
Mm.
You see someone down, you pick them up. I'm really against the whole I'm better than you. I'm this or you're from there. Man, help. You know,
Mm.
I didn't raise my kids by myself. It took a whole tribe.
All
Me, my
right.
parents, every single neighbor that watches my kid, come up and down these streets. That's community.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was raised up on, though. I used to walk to school every single day, mile all the way home, all the way to school, and I almost knew everybody on that walk. And we've kind of gone away from that. That was a great question, though.
Yeah, definitely. Why not have internships for council seats that would be publicized for exposure and have each person running utilize specific tools to encourage creativity with a targeted goal of completion so that the public could make decisions based on actual performance. Maybe call it competitive approach to politics. We all want to elect the winners. Maybe a crazy, maybe a crazy thought. I mean, that's good. I mean, we have to think
That's
outside the
good.
box, right?
No, that actually is good. I mean, who you get the saying, right? Oh, son, you could be anything. You could be president of the United States, but you're right. What if someone wants to be that?
Right.
Instead of watching American Ninja, we watch San Antonio. What are we gonna be doing? Running through the Alamo?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but no,
mean,
that that's a great idea. I mean, when I decided to run, like my kids were like, "You're running for city council?" I was like, "Yes." And they're like, "Oh, like it was new," and it
right.
hit me then, like, wow,
Yeah.
that's a great idea, actually. Hey, you know what? Let's have why not have an internship for that? I mean,
Yeah.
nowadays we have younger and younger candidates running.
Unless if you have an internship for CPS meteorologist. No.
Oh,
I don't know if you
I,
saw that article or not.
yes, yes,
I mean,
I did.
I I don't know. Somebody said they're using them as a scapegoat, and I don't know, but I think it's very poor. So what are your thoughts on the whole CPS thing? Would you like to see change if you do get elected?
Oh, I
Or
was I was outraged, completely outraged. Um, I can, and I was more outraged at the fact that I have a mother that's 63 and doesn't have central heat. And she's out there and all the way across town, and I can't get to her because of the snow. You know what I mean? Like I was outraged because all of this happened, and I couldn't help those that weren't here with me. And I went and sat at Greater Harmony Hills class to understand more what happened. Okay, so I went and sat in this class given by Mr. Isaac, and he did a great job of explaining of pretty much how ERCOT monopolized the situation, created an opportunity for these businesses to make money.
hey, they said it was the electric company's fault. You saw
Okay,
that they passed the blame on to everybody else.
okay, so it pretty much pulled what a GameStop
Hmm.
in easy terms of explaining it. You know, they allowed the energy to rise, and it hurt a lot of people. And then was it the CPS fault on their end? They had some fault. Having units that are over 50 years old from the last 85 freeze, that's unacceptable. You know, we those were the same units used in 85 when I was 4 or 5 years old, and those are the same still units that use now. The closing of and trying to go completely green, in which Mr. Isaac went through, it can't happen. You can't go completely green. You need a assortment of all the resources to be able to withstand something like that. God forbid we go through a worse summer where this happens again, and now instead of freezing, we got people dying of heat strokes.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, something needs to be done to make sure that the city CPS is held accountable to the highest level. Lives were endangered, lives were lost. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, definitely. And as going green would be great. Yeah, I mean, we don't have the infrastructure for that. We don't even have the infrastructure to fix our own streets right now.
Nope.
Um, we can't completely switch on to green energy right now. Now, do I think there are some politics into that? Probably,
Well,
but
there's a lot of politics into the green energy. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, there is.
so I mean, everybody wants to make their money, but at the end of the day, we need to really make sure that we're doing best for our people, and I think that's why we have
And,
to elect the right people.
and that's where local politics, local government is probably, if anything affects you, it's going to be your
Mhm.
local government. You know, that's huge because they're the ones that are in. Property taxes going up, property taxes going down. Look what happened. With ERCOT CPS. Now we're going to have a debate. Do we need ERCOT? We need to do something about that. So it all starts at home.
And why do they have immunity? That was the biggest thing is why do they have
Yeah.
immunity from having lawsuits against them?
And not
Um,
just that, but as soon as it happened, okay, here you go. Here's my resident. I made my money. I'm gone.
right.
That's
We're
how I
under the
saw it.
spotlight.
That's how I
Yeah,
saw it.
we're under the spotlight. Oh, it's time to dip. Let's go.
Yeah, we made ours.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on here in the comments. Let's see. Hold on. Oh, I think they were talking about some of the advocacy work.
Oh,
Texas went deregulated, thus made us ineligible for federal grant monies, and retail energy companies pocket massive bonuses instead of putting that money back into the grid. Technology 4 years old. Yeah, like you were saying, the state does, however, have new technology and plants, but the hubs are in between and
yep.
outdated.
In
Discuss.
between, outdated,
Yeah,
sitting there like the spruce pine. That thing
yeah.
closes. We're still on the hook for I think $1 billion, and it
Hmm.
generates 174 million a year. They
Yeah,
want to close it,
yeah.
so we're still going to be left with a bill, and it generates money for the city, and so we're going to lose money as more money as well.
Hmm.
So
Definitely.
it's a combination of all of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we need to talk about that. Now, again, if anybody wants to ask a question before we end this, please jump in real quick. I'll post the link one more time in the comments section, so you can ask whatever question you may like, uh, and if not, then we'll go ahead and end it. But anything you want to cover that maybe we didn't get the chance to cover regarding like your platform or whatever it is.
Um, I mean, we covered a lot.
Yeah.
My whole platform is as a small business owner looking from the outside in, you know, running for city council. It's like I tell everybody when I'm asked, why did you run? Why did you run for city council? This is not something you do. And the question is, you need to ask who's currently in there. Why are they running again?
Hmm.
Because this is my first time. My first time. I have a business that I think I've done all right with. Running, budgeting, working with different departments. I've worked with corporate America, trying to work with budgets. You know, and my whole thing is you're in this for several reasons. Make a political career, which
Hmm.
I'm not. You're in it for interest groups that are just specifically for you or in your area, or you're actually doing it for community regard. And that's really why I'm running. Tired of seeing what's happening. And if May 1st comes and I'm not at that ballot, but I inspire someone to step up next time, then I win.
Yeah. And I wanna ask you, what are some things that you personally see that you can kind of tell voters of what to look for when they do talk to either other candidates or elected officials to know that they're really for the people? What are some things that you would like to say that you think that you would see that?
So, I mean, for me, I mean, it's several things. If you're going to come tell me I'm for the people, yet you're not on a board to volunteer. You're not putting your spare time to help others. You're not, and when you do, you're promoting it all over the place. I do stuff just to do it. I don't need to put it all over the place. You know what I mean? It's the genuine in a person. And for the most part, you can see that in someone, the way they carry themselves, the way they act, the way others treat them, the
Mhm.
backing. It's not just boasting them or talking. You know what I mean? It's genuine.
Mhm.
Take your time. Understand. That person. Understand who you're voting for. You know, and go from there.
Yeah, definitely. And I hope, these type of interviews for everybody watching is helpful to really get to know a little bit more about the person that's running. And for all these interviews, I mean, this is kind of like a conversation that we want to have to be able to see, you know, the actual person. Because,
Yeah.
forums, you only get
Yep.
about 2 to 5 minutes to speak. So,
Yep. And yeah, if you're in District 4 and you see me out, stop me. Have a conversation. Trust, I am not shy. I am far from shy. We will sit there and have a conversation. You want me to go and have lunch? You want to have lunch, have dinner? You want to have breakfast? Let's go. You know, I'm all for it. But that's the person I am. Like I said before doing this, a lot of the stuff I did was volunteer already. Because if I don't like it, then I got to try to do something about it.
mhm,
And if, like I said, if at the end of the day I'm not there, I gave it everything I got.
right. If you don't put all over the place as elected official, it didn't happen.
That's correct,
Yeah, it's
Josie.
true.
That's correct.
It's a fine
Yes.
line. That's a fine
Yes.
line because you're
Yeah.
you're
And
trying to
so,
help.
so I don't. Yeah. So I'm not. There's stuff I do, and we'll do it. But there's stuff I do that it's just dear to me.
Mhm.
And you'll see that. You'll see it in that person.
Right,
So
definitely.
great comment, Josie.
Anthony, I was gonna do your, but I mean, it's not really regarding our local politics, so you can have that conversation with David if you'd like. But yeah, definitely. If anybody else has any more questions, please do. If not, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. How can people get a hold of you and maybe help contribute?
So you can go to www.votefordavidsa.com. You can look me up on Facebook. David Tristan, candidate for District 4, is another way. You can email me at dtristan at family first, and that's family one st dot agency. And if you want to call me, you can call me too. You can call me 210-519-7323.
All right.
I love to talk.
David, tell everyone where you will be Sunday.
Oh, yes. So Sunday we'll be having a meet and greet at Estella's Mexican restaurant on South 10 from 8 to 11. Have some tacos, meet the people for, just to have a conversation with us, talk to us, ask questions.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, and I always encourage everybody, please, when you have these opportunities, go and talk to these people, and get to a little bit more because we're all human. We all can relate to something. Maybe might not agree with certain policies or whatever it is, but and that's where you find out, you know, what you
Yeah.
like. If you,
Yeah. So I always tell you have to be able to agree to disagree. And if you're able to agree to disagree and still walk out without wanting to choke each other, I mean, you got a lot more accomplished than you thought.
right, exactly. All right, so. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
No, just get out there and vote. I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Hmm.
Nothing can happen unless you get out there and you actually you vote.
Exactly. And your voice does matter.
Absolutely,
Especially in these local elections, they
it
definitely do
matters
matter.
more now.
Right. And why do you say that?
Well, because this is your local government. There's no electoral colleges here.
Mhm.
Your vote does count, especially at the local level.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you, David. I appreciate it. Thank you for everybody for watching. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to him. If you have any questions for me as well, you can definitely ask me. If you are a candidate that I have not gotten to or gotten a hold of, please reach out to me. I've called everybody, um, but I have gotten some that didn't answer. So definitely want to make sure that I reach out to everybody, um, and have a say. If you'd like to donate to this podcast as well, please do. Um, and just because we got to help keep this going a little bit, I'm planning on doing these school board interviews as well because that is super important. I think as a city
Yes, it is.
we don't focus on our school board elections, and this will be also wrapped up into it. So I will be interviewing. I've contacted some already. I'm gonna interview SAISD, um, Harlandale if Harlandale has any. I can't forget. I think it was North Side or wherever it
Yes,
is.
you have a north side running.
Yeah, North Side. Definitely reach out to them. So definitely please be engaged with those as well because we don't focus a lot on those. And if you have questions for those people as well, please let me know or just join the live stream so you can ask these people as well. Um, um, Jeremy. Oh yes, thank you. I appreciate it. Uh, oh, I don't know. um, let's see here. And education needs reform. Yeah. Do you want to touch on that real quick? Whether education?
So yeah, education does need reform. Like I said earlier, the the education that we have, I mean, it's okay, but it's evolved. So much has changed. Is one. Number two, where are our trade schools? Like it's like almost frowned upon if you're a plumber. It's almost frowned upon if you're a mechanic because you didn't get accepted to UT or you didn't go to A&M. What about entrepreneurship? Why is that not taught either? The whole way it's done, even up into graduating high school. The economics class my son is taking now, I'm like, what have they taught you? Everything that you really need to know in this world, once you graduate high school, everybody goes out there unless you have a parent that's teaching you that understands that. And there's some parents that don't understand what are taxes, what's insurance, what's a retirement. These are things that are important. So education reform as a whole, it just straight testing, teaching our kids just to literally pass a test, that needs to change. You
Hmm.
know, that's your our kids are not just out here to take tests. They need to learn. They need to be educated.
Definitely. All right, David. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you for everybody for
Thank
watching.
you for having
Um,
me.
yeah, definitely, and please be engaged. Be engaged. Ask these questions. And try to. Uh, okay. Jake. I think Jake is a
Oh,
candidate
yep,
for
Jake.
one of the. Yeah, and we will be having an interview with Jake. So definitely make sure you reach out to that. Um, Okay. Yeah. I think that's just a side conversation on the comments. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you. Be engaged. Um, and have a great day, everybody.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. Y'all have a great day.